I found a thread on Twitter. X. Sorry, old habits die hard. I found a thread on X that is discussing the exact same stuff that I've been talking about over the last couple of months regarding AI, technology, exponential growth, exponential advancements in the tech, and what that means for us as humans. And I'm going to show you this whole thread. It is awesome. There's a couple of videos in there that I really want you guys to see. And it's so funny. I talk about business stuff all the time. I talk about I've even talked about political things and capitalism on this channel. And the thing that seems to irk the most of you guys, or at least brings the most negativity, is when I talk about AI and how it's going to legitimately change the way that we do life, and it's going to replace people in jobs. Yes, I focused on teachers. I got a lot of heat for that. I also focused on medical industry. I think the medical industry is going to absolutely be upended, and you're going to see why here in just a second. It's also going to some of the first to go are going to be programmers and people who are creative writers or writers in general. I think that those ones have already seen a displacement, seen some displacement. A lot of people are just integrating their workflow into AI. It can make them 100x more productive when you can write copy for your client in 30 seconds versus a day and a half, right? So I think we're going to see a lot of things take place where AI and humanity integrates together. But eventually, I think there's going to be just a lot of jobs that are just displaced. And we're going to look back and we're going to be like, oh my gosh, we actually needed that. It's kind of like pioneer wagon makers, right? We're gonna look back like 10 years from now, 15 years ago, and we're gonna be like, wow, we actually had people who did that job for us. Like nobody makes pioneer wagons now. That's how interesting it's going to be. So I want you guys to take a look at this. Now, obviously, this is going to challenge some of your beliefs, and it's probably going to frustrate some of you guys, and you're going to be inclined to leave a comment. So maybe that's a little bit negative, and I highly encourage you to, because I love it. And it brings engagement and ups my engagement score with the old YouTubes. So let's, with that said, let's dive into it. Actually, let me make sure that I've got my card, my audio card all figured. Application audio. I'm gonna go properties. Again, you guys, if you're brand new here, welcome to the Raw Dog. No edits, just good quality content, good videos that foster discussion. Also, if you're new here, the mission of this channel is to teach you guys the things that I am doing, the stuff that I am thinking about as we're going from 7 figures to 8 figures in our company. And so if you're along for the journey and you want to know what it's like to think in terms of scaling from 7 figures to 8 figures, then welcome to the party. Let's do this. All right, hit that subscribe button. All right, let's rock and roll, you guys. Here we go. So this is Elad Inbar. Don't know who this is, but this thread hasn't really like overly performed, but I loved what he was talking about here because, again, it falls right in line with some of the things that I've been talking about. All right, so here's what it says. This is the worst AI will ever be, but it never forgets. It never slows down. By 2030, this won't just reshape tech. It'll reinvent how we work, heal, and live. Here's what's coming and why it matters. All right, at Robot Lab, we have a forum called This is the Worst AI Will Ever Be. The name says it all. Unlike humans, AI never loses knowledge. Everything it learns becomes permanent foundation for future growth. This is really interesting. You know, as humans, I believe that we also don't lose knowledge. I think it's stored somewhere in the recesses of our brain for future use someday. It's kind of like when you're walking down the street and you smell something and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm reminded of some circumstance when I was a kid that I totally forgot about. Every now and then that happens to me. It pulls up some information that I have stored in some crack in my brain, in my brain. I get thrown off when I said crack.
This is the worst
So let's watch this video.
This is the worst artificial intelligence will ever be. So right now we can maybe detect there might be 7 fingers, or maybe it has multicolored eyes or something. But going forward, we can't count on the human brain to be a supercomputer. So instead, I think we need to teach kids to think critically about the entire information ecosystem, regardless of what content they come across. Who did share this content, as you had mentioned? What do you think the narrative was behind this content? And the flip side of that is teaching kids at a young age to be ethical AI users themselves. So when they use AI to write a story, that they sign their name, but also co-created by AI. We get them thinking about the ethics at a very young age, because these are the AI creators of the future. So get them to think critically about what they see, read, and create. This is the worst artificial.
So I think that she brings up a really good point. Now, I've been criticized over the last few days about being a fearmonger, or talking about, or just a marketer. I'm using this all for marketing. And some of that, I mean, like, I'm legitimately feeling the way that I am talking, like how I am talking on this video is legitimately how I feel about artificial intelligence. I'm not making up the emotion that I'm bringing to this. It's a conversation that we definitely need to have. Do I market my artificial intelligence event, my AI Marketing World event? Absolutely. But I have AI Marketing World to talk about this stuff. So regardless if I had the event, I would still be talking about it, because it's important. Everybody should be using it. Everybody should be studying it. Everybody should be learning it. What she says here, we should be ethical AI users. Like, when did we ever think that was going to become a thing that we needed to focus on? Fascinating where we're at as a culture. And again, is she fear-mongering? Absolutely not. She's talking about the reality of the situation. And wait until I get to with the guy here in just a second talks about exponential growth. Like, that's going to blow your mind. I do want to hear from you guys, though. Leave it in the comments how you feel about this how you feel about this AI stuff. Are you fully jumping in head first, or are you toe dipping? Are you worried? Are you nervous? Are you feeling like I'm blowing smoke, or like this isn't actually going to be anything? Or do you realize that, like, this is the future? I'm curious. What do you think? Okay, so here we go. Here's the guy talking about
the
exponential the guy talking about exponential growth. Watch this. Explode.
The exponential improvement year after year after year is hard to visualize for the extractive mindset. The extractive mindset is linear and it's incremental, right? But even, for folks used to Moore's law, which is just about, 2x improvement every 2 years, we see AI improving double exponentially, meaning that the hardware is improving exponentially, and the algorithms, the software, is also improving exponentially, right? So it depends on which source you look for and what specific manifestation of AI. We've seen that AI has been improving at anywhere from 9 to 900 times per year, right? Which is kind of insane.
9 to 900x improvements a year. And you think about it, okay, let's just say we have 1,000x improvement between 2024 and 2025. What does 1,000x improvement between 2025 and 2026 even look like? Or between 26 and 27, or 27 and 20? Like, we're talking exponential growth in advancements in technology we cannot even fathom. I just bought this tablet the other day. This is a Tab 10 Plus, and I'm thinking to myself, when I bought it, I'm like, dude, this tech is going to be obsolete within a few months. I mean, like Samsung and Apple, it's like, I feel like they already have like 5 years of the next models of phones already pre-planned out, and they're just like slowly dripping them out so that we would get stuck in their purchase loop. But I'm thinking about this tech, and I'm just like, or this thing right here. Like, this is a dinosaur. Some of you guys might know what this thing is. Most of you probably don't. This was hot for about 6 months last year. and it's called the Rabbit R1. And basically, it was supposed to be like a replacement for a phone where you could just like talk to AI and order, hey AI, order me a pizza, and then it would go into your thing. It would act as an agent, go into your thing, order you a pizza. Pizza would be sent. Hey, book me a flight. Right? This was supposed to be that piece of tech. It became obsolete before it even came out, and the tech failed and sucked anyway. I think you could still find this stuff. I'm keeping it though because one day it's going to be a collector's item, and I'll probably be able to sell it for much more than I paid for it. But my point here, guys, is that this type of thing is becoming obsolete before it even, basically before it even goes to launch. Now, I also recognize there were a lot of problems and flaws with this tech before it came out. So it wasn't necessarily that it was obsolete, but there was some obsolescence too. It's like, as soon as this thing, I remember like I paid for this in like January of last year. It was supposed to come in like July or something like that. And in between those two dates, ChatGPT launched its voice mode where you could literally just open up the app, start talking to ChatGPT, have conversations with it. And it virtually made this thing a dinosaur overnight, became obsolete. Technology advancing. All right, here we go. I'm not going to play this video because it's stuff that's boring, but the point that's made here is important. Take DALL-E and Midjourney as examples. In just 6 months, these AI image generators went from pixelated images to photorealistic masterpieces, from crude sketches to indistinguishable from photographs. It reveals something significant about our future. This isn't unique to image generation. I'm going to play this one though. This isn't unique to image generation. Language models write code that outperforms human programmers. AI diagnoses AI diagnoses disease with 30% more accuracy than specialists. Robots perform tasks with vision, touch, and planning. These capabilities combine to create powerful tools. This one right here, this is insane. AI diagnoses disease with 30% more accuracy than specialists. I had a guy who was a doctor leave a comment on one of my videos a couple months ago. I've talked about this a couple times. The reason I keep bringing it up totally irked me because he was being sarcastic, kind of being a jerk about my prediction with artificial intelligence. And he's like, his point was, I was like, be warned, there are certain things with AI that can be considered dangerous. And he's like, yeah, AI is so dangerous. It's filing all my reports and doing my diagnosis faster. And I'm like, Dr. Homie, you are admitting that artificial intelligence is better than you and can replace you. Now, I'm not saying that doctors are going to disappear overnight. I am saying that in some cases, I would much rather have an AI diagnose me than having a doctor diagnose me if it gets 30% more accuracy. Why wouldn't you? All right, let's watch Elon.
What would your kind of observation be on AI and the impact on labor markets and people's jobs and how they should feel about that as they think about this?
Well, I think we are seeing the most disruptive force in history here. We will have for the first time something that is smarter than the smartest human. And that, I mean, it's hard to say exactly what that moment is, but there will come a point where no job is needed. You can have a job if you want to have a job for sort of personal satisfaction, but the AI will be able to do everything. So I don't know if that makes people comfortable or uncomfortable. It's hard, when there's new technology, it tends to have what usually called an S-curve. In this case, we're going to be on the exponential portion of the S-curve for a long time. And we have to ask for anything. We won't have universal basic income, we'll have universal high income. So in some sense, it'll be somewhat of a leveler, one equalizer, because really everyone will have access to this magic genie.
What do you think about that? Leave it in the comments, guys. You won't have
observation be on
you won't need a job. You won't need a job. Hold on, I'm going to make sure that this is actually, if you guys are hearing this.
AI and the impact on labor markets and people's jobs and how they should feel about that as they think about this.
Okay, might be a little bit low. Sorry if it's a little bit low. Let me actually crank that up for y'all. Crank it up to the max. There we go. You won't necessarily need a job. You can have a job if you choose. It won't be universal basic income. It'll be universal high income. Ugh, I don't know, you guys. It's that's just weird. I mean, again, like these are the things that I've been talking about We're talking about getting to a point where you won't need a job, where artificial intelligence robots will basically do everything. This is where I'm saying we're going to have this insane spiritual revolution. I could absolutely see that happening, where people are legitimately transcending. You hear these stories about people astral projecting and people, what's the word? Remote viewing and being able to like tap into parts of their mind that other people have no idea how to tap into. I think there could be, I could see a time where parapsychology becomes, instead of pseudoscience, it becomes like mainstream, and we really start to tap into those things. We really start to advance as a race to the point where we're able to do things with our minds. That's probably sounds a little bit kooky and crazy. It's all right. I lean into it sometimes. All right, let's keep going. Silicone brains differ from biological ones. Tech takes what exists today and builds on it. New capabilities stack on previous ones. Every improvement becomes available to all AI systems. This acceleration is creating opportunities most businesses aren't prepared for. All right, let's watch this guy. I'm going to see if I can double time it.
Can that continue forever? I don't know, but it's going to continue for...
Hey, I'm going to double time this, and if you guys need to, you can slow down the video to 0.75 if it's too fast for you.
Can that continue forever? I don't know, but it's going to continue for many, many years, right? I mean, I think I said this publicly in 2019, AI is improving on a double exponential basis, right? And it's still, if anything, it can be accelerating, right? So the thing about AI is that in double exponential and all of these disruptive transformations is that they open up new possibility spaces, right? So a lot of folks see the disruption of labor as a one-to-one. Oh, they're going to take my job or whatever, right? Oh, but they can't do this and that or the other. Oh, they hallucinate when they do X or whatever. And that's essentially the wrong way to see it, right? On a double exponential basis, improvement in cost and capabilities, depending on who you ask, AI is going to reach ignition point over the next, I would say 10 years, right? I think it's safe to say 10 years. A lot of folks are saying 2 or 6, but let's say over 10 years. And what do I mean by that? What we call the ignition point, right, is the point at which the system becomes self-sustaining, meaning that the system improves itself with the existing hardware and software. It can keep improving itself without humans in the loop, or with minimal human intervention. And I recently heard Eric Schmidt say that that's going to happen in 6 years.
Ignition point, where artificial intelligence can make self-improvements. And if you think about this, right, if we have this whole line of Optimus robots that is released, and Elon Musk is talking about every home has an Optimus robot. And in all honesty, why wouldn't you want one? I mean, I know there's like privacy issues and things like that. Hey, face the corner, put your nose in the corner while I'm sleeping. I don't need you looking over me, bro. Why wouldn't, if everybody has one and it's making their life so much more optimal, why wouldn't you want a robot taking care of the menial tasks, the hard, laborious things? Now, when a robot can create software, when an artificial intelligence can solve a problem that's a software problem, and then it can tell a robot to go and do that, fix it, to make those adjustments, and then it can create new hardware all by itself, and it's constantly upgrading the artificial intelligence, the supercomputing, the hardware. Game over, right? That's the point at which he's saying could be 10 years from now. Some people saying 6 years from now. I don't know. I'm definitely thinking that within the next 25 years, though, life is going to be different. It's going to be fundamentally different. All right, here's NVIDIA, CEO of NVIDIA. By 2030, robots will change how we work, master complex tasks after seeing them perform just once, adapt to unexpected situations without reprogramming, solve logical logistics problems humans can't compute. And many experts, this will happen even sooner. Many experts believe this will happen even sooner. Let's watch.
Has the program. You probably recall, over the course of the last 10 years, 15 years, almost everybody who sits on a stage like this will tell you it is vital that your children learn computer science. Everybody should learn how to program. And in fact, it's almost exactly the opposite. It is our job to create computing technology such that nobody has to program. And that the programming language is human. Everybody in the world is now a programmer. This is the miracle. This is the miracle of artificial intelligence. For the very first time, we have closed the gap. The technology divide has been completely closed. And this is the reason why so many people can engage artificial intelligence. It is the reason why every single government, every single industrial conference, every single company is talking about artificial intelligence today. Because for the very first time, you can imagine everybody in your company being a technologist. And so this is a tremendous time for all of you to realize that the technology divide has been closed. Or another way to say it, the technology leadership of other countries has now been reset. The countries, the people that understand how to solve a domain problem in digital biology or in education of young people or in manufacturing or in farming, those people who understand domain expertise now can utilize technology that is readily available to you. You now have a computer that will do what you tell it to do, to help automate your work, to amplify your productivity, to make you more efficient. And so I think that this is just a tremendous time. The impact, of course, is great, and your imperative to activate and take advantage of the technology is absolutely immediate.
Yeah, I mean, so he brings up the good point where it's like over the last 15 years, everybody's been saying, teach your kids how to program. And I've been like, I mean, I have no desire to learn how to program. My kids have no desire to learn how to program. That's just not our thing. Our thing is marketing, business building, business growth, efficiency, productivity, those types of things. Those are the things that we're really focused on. Never had a desire to program. That said, right now, I'm working on a SaaS tool. Never in a million years, never in 40 years did I think that at some point I would be developing a software. And software right now, my business partner will probably disagree with this. I'm like, because he's putting so much time into this, it's not as expensive as it used to be. You can develop a software like the Oregon Trail, which was, I don't know how much money that game made. If you guys are old enough, you remember that. But you know, that was a massively popular game way back in the 80s and 90s, and it cost probably a ton of money to program. Artificial intelligence can probably program that entire thing in about 30 minutes, the entire game in about 30 minutes. Actually, I want to see if I can get artificial intelligence to do that. That'd be really fun. Or Super Mario's, right? 8-bit gaming. And now what he's saying is that you don't need that. In fact, like the people, I kind of feel bad for a lot of the programmers as of today, because they're working their way out of a job. In the next 5 to 10 years, there probably not going to be as many programming jobs, because everybody could just be like, hey, artificial intelligence, can you make me something that does this? And it's just going to do it for you. That's pretty cool. All right, then he says, a manufacturing plant integrated an AI system that reduced errors by 87% while increasing production by 50%. The workers weren't replaced. They were elevated to strategic roles. Job satisfaction improved as repetitive tasks were automated. This will affect your industry. Doesn't matter which one, it will affect it all. While these advancements are exciting, the gap between cutting-edge AI and practical business implementation remains significant. The tech is advancing faster than businesses can implement without expert guidance. We bridge this critical gap. All right, at Robot Lab, we focus on owning the last mile of robotics and AI. The businesses that thrive will not be those with the most advanced technology, but those that implement it strategically and early. The competitive advantage starts today. All right, my friends, I hope you take this seriously. Let me go back so I can get my serious face on. I hope you're taking this seriously. My intention is not to scare anybody. In fact, it's the opposite. I want you all to see the opportunity. You should be scared if you don't take advantage of it. You should be scared if you put your head in the sand. Of course, you should be scared, because it's going to make it exponentially harder for you to jump on the bandwagon 5 years down the road when artificial intelligence becomes a way of life, when everybody has to be using it in order to stay efficient and productive. Right now is the golden age. It's the golden opportunity. Jump in right now, learn these things, incorporate them into your businesses, incorporate them into your content strategies, and you will be right up there with the best. You'll be a part of the AI robot revolution. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Thanks, guys. Hey, also got AI Marketing World Conference tickets, or the link to tickets in the description. We'll see you there, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.